Welcome to the Girls and Girls podcast. I'm Shauna.
And I'm Lexie.
And today we are back with some more Reddit ghost stories. It has been a long while since we recorded a podcast episode, but we are back and we are hoping to stay back.
It's not going to happen.
No, because our last episode we recorded in October, but I didn't get around to editing it for a long period of time, and that only went out 3 months ago. So we was like back, we're not fully back, but we have come up with a schedule, we've come up with a plan, we are hoping to stay back. We'll see how long that lasts, because we never know with us. But like I said, today we are going to be reading some Reddit ghost stories. We thought it would be a nice chill way of easing back into this podcast. Okay, let's just jump straight on into it. This is a story I do not tell often. I promise Cecilia that this has scared me for life, and although I have looked into psychological explanations for what I heard and natural explanations for what occurred, they remain unsatisfactory. When I was a child, I was scared of the dark. I swore to my mother I heard voices in it. They were not evil, but they were not familiar, and they scared me. It was not uncommon in the middle of the night for me to wake up and hear whispers, as I would call them when asking my mom. She figured they were just bumps in the night and typical kids' nightmares material. I tried often to explain to her that it was more than that they sounded different from one another the way people's voices do. But some nights I would get so scared that these whispers that I would sleep in my mom's bed with her. It was an added bonus that the bathroom was directly outside of her bedroom door for my nighttime tinkles. Okay. I should add at this point that when walking out into the hall to go to the bathroom, they looked directly down the stairs that would lead you into the living room on the first floor, as my mom's bedroom was on the second floor. Got it.
I want to kind of say something.
Continue.
I feel like this isn't really like a ghost experience so far. It kind of sounds like, what's it called?
The setting, I think the set in the atmosphere.
No, like, just the idea of like whispers.
Oh, okay.
Like, because the whole thing's about hearing whispers.
Yeah.
And like, it the way they're like saying it kind of makes it seem like not ghosts, but kind of like in their mind. What's that one thing called?
Oh, sleep paralysis.
No.
I'm not sure.
You once told me as a joke I had it and then I couldn't sleep.
Schizophrenic?
Yeah, schizophrenic.
Yeah, but apparently they've gone and checked medically for these things and things come up. See, psychological explanation, so I don't know, but so far their mother is just like, oh, it's natural kid stuff, whatever. But let's continue on with the story. We don't know yet. On one such night around Christmas, I awoke and felt the need to relieve myself. I walked out from the door and distinctly heard the phrase "look," and to my atmosphere a red light, almost like a spotlight, was cast upon the wall at the very bottom of the stairs. The light had no other source, it was by itself, and I was transfixed by it. Being a little kid and it only been a few days from Christmas, I knew what this light was. It was Santa. How else could he get into my house to know I was being a good boy? I was so excited I began walking down the stairs to greet him, picking up my pace after the second step as it began to creep off the wall and fade into the darkness in my living room. That's when I heard him. A very strong masculine voice, different from the first, not at all like my father's. Not to say he isn't masculine, it was just distinctly different. It said, "Stop right now. Go back upstairs." I listened, turned around, and what happened next I am not sure I would believe if someone had told me the same story. After reaching the top of the stairs, I heard a very loud crash that sent me running back to my mother's bed, where I jumped straight under the covers and stayed there the whole night. When we awoke the next morning, the poinsettia lights, little Christmas flower lights that glowed red. My mother had put them on the railing down the stairs, pulled straight down to the bottom of the stairs, some broken from what seemed like a forceful tear, laying in a single pile. The dry sink in my living room had fallen from the wall. My mother could not explain it. My father was worried we had been the victim of a home invasion. My sister was crying. There was nothing missing. Nobody had broken in. There did not seem to be any reason this had happened. And then I saw it. I kept quiet about it because I was so afraid that I could not force words out of my mouth. There on the edge of the wooden dry sink, which had been facing up, were 3 indentations where the finish of the wood had been worn, almost as if it was a forceful grip. Something down there had grabbed it and threw it down.
How rude.
That was what the bang was. I was mortified. After that day, I never heard a single voice again. I do not like to imagine what was waiting downstairs for me that night, if it was anything at all, but I can tell you that the reality was what something had physically acted upon 2 things in my house near the bottom of the stairwell. After this, I had never heard another whisper again, which is sad because in some ways I would have liked to thank the man, masculine energy, that had stopped me from going down those stairs. This happened when I was 7, or 7.5, as I like to say at the time. I am 20 years old now, and because of the incident, I am still afraid of the dark, especially shadowy stairwells.
Alright. Can I just say, kind of given psychic medium.
Yeah, I can agree. It's funny that you said that, though, because someone in the comments said, silly child, that wasn't Santa, that was Satan. Easy mistake. And then someone else put, everyone forgets about Satan. So, people in the comments believe that, again, Satan, oh no. Did you really just reply? Okay, so, I honestly, I agree with the comments. It does sound like something on the demonic side, and then there's got to be, like, some type of spirit that's, like, looking out for them. As the writer put it, masculine energy. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have any thoughts on that one.
Me neither. I just think red light, as he put it.
Yeah.
Definitely not Santa.
Definitely not Santa. No.
But like it's something more like demonic, like you said.
Yeah.
Most likely not Satan, but something like
along those lines.
Something demonic.
I'd also like to know if anyone else in the house experienced the same things, especially like maybe the sister, depending on how old the sister is. Because if the mother thought that it was just like, you know, oh, child having nightmares, then obviously she didn't have any experiences. And so I wonder about, I mean, even the dad.
Yeah.
Or is it just like
if it's just him, he really is given psychic medium.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, on to the next.
So, not sure if scary, but really weird. 2 days after my grandfather died, the neighborhood security guard knocks on our door on a Sunday morning. He told us, an old man came to your house earlier, knocked on your door for half an hour, and finally left. When I asked him what he wanted, he told me he needed to say goodbye to someone he had never had the chance to meet. We were all stunned, had no idea who this old man was, or who he was looking for. When the guard came in, he shouted, "That's the old man!" pointing at a picture of my grandfather. My entire family froze for a minute. I'm not 100% sure if the guard was telling the truth, but I almost like believing that my granddad wanted to say goodbye to my newborn sister before resting in peace.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
Okay, that was a short story, but I feel like a lot happened. At first, it kind of reminded me of a similar thing that used to happen to us a few years ago when that old man used to like come every few months, knock on the door, and we believe it was for someone who used to live here and maybe he has like dementia and he didn't remember that they moved or whatever. We're not 100% sure. We haven't seen him in a very long time, so that's kind of what it was given at first. Or cases where like strange people like knock on the doors and you see on the ring bell that they're just knocking, you're like, who are you? Like, you know, strange things like that you see on the internet all the time. That's what it sounded like until they got to like the picture of the grandfather and stuff. That's crazy.
How do you scroll into the comments? I want to read some comments for them. Someone's just confused about neighborhood security guards.
Some neighborhoods do have security guards. It depends on the neighborhood. Or street watch, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, someone's talking about how if it's the same thing happening with their uncle who's deceased and his newborn granddaughter. And then finally a story that doesn't make me poop my pants in fear.
No, because that's quite like it's a very sad one, but it's also kind of like a bittersweet one, because knowing that the grandfather's coming back to actually say goodbye for the final time is like, you know what I mean?
Say hello.
Or say hello, yeah. They're just assuming it's goodbye. It might be hello.
No, they said hello.
Oh, is it? Why did I say goodbye?
Because basically the security guard said that they wanted to say goodbye to the person they never met, and then pretty sure it was the writer's little sister that was like a newborn.
Oh, okay.
Big one. I'll attempt this really long one, but I don't think I can.
You're editing it.
This was submitted 13 years ago.
No way.
So 2012?
Yeah.
Disclaimer, I submitted this in the past. All events are true. My house was built in 1904. It is a single family home, wood frame setting on a concrete block foundation. I have been living here for about 12 years. Of all the weird things that my siblings and me have seen or heard in this house, this one event is my favourite. This happened to my brother about 10 years ago. My brother and his best friend had started a garage band playing most Spanish rock alternative music but in Spanish. His friends could only get together on Sunday afternoons. They would practice into the early evening. They would usually call it quits by 8 p.m. This was the time I usually showed up and went to bed because I worked the graveyard shift. This happened in late fall, so the days were getting shorter. They had just finished a long session when the decision to head to someone else's house came about. My brother handed his car keys to his buddy so they could load up the equipment. Everyone had filed out of the basement. The tricky part was that they needed to walk all the way to the back of the basement, up the back stairs, through the kitchen doorway, down the hall, into the living room, and out in the front porch. Everyone was outside sitting in my brother's truck waiting for him. My brother was walking up the back stairs when he remembered that he had left his pancakes in a go... Sorry. Remember that he left his pancakes in a go container sitting on a speaker in the basement. He made the decision to go back. Now the basement is not clean with full sight lines. There had been partitions made and the boiler and main heating unit are right smack in the middle. So after my brother walks back, he is about to retrieve his food container when out of the corner of his eye he sees it. It's a shadowy figure right at his provisional peripheral vision. This feeling of dread and uneasiness washed over my brother. We had been taught that if you are in the presence of a spirit or ghost and you felt a bad vibe, to say a quick prayer or to cuss at it. My brother chose the latter. He basically just told it, "Hey, F you, I don't have time for this it."
Okay.
My brother
Huh? I've never heard about cussing at it. Okay. Moving on.
My brother started to walk to... to be honest, I feel like to make it be like, oh, I'm not scared, but I feel like it can sense your emotions, so you could be like, hey, go away, I don't care about you, type thing, but it can still tell that you're scared of it.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Not a fact, but... My brother started to walk to the back of the basement and briskly up the stairs, closing the doors and turning off the lights as he was walking out. The last light switch is on the opposite side of the front door. Luckily the door was open and the light from the street lamp was flooding the living room with its amber light. My brother said he felt something at his back, but at no point did he turn around as he flicked the last switch. Flicked the last switch. The living room went dark, as the rest of the house. As he stepped out, he pulled on the door, closing it behind him, still holding his food container in one hand. The food container is just funny to me. Still holding his food container in one hand, he jogged down the few porch steps. He walked towards the front gate. Our house resides far from the main street, essentially having a large front yard but no rear garage. As he closed the gap between himself and his friend's laden truck, he kind of smiled and thought things over in his head, mad at himself for spooking out when there was no reason. He climbed into the driver's side of the truck, putting on his seatbelt and getting ready to pull out of the parking spot directly in front of the house, when one of his friends asked, "Hey, wait, what about your brother? Isn't he coming with us?" My brother answered, "What do you mean? He went to work early tonight. He is already gone. Do you see his car anywhere?" The next question they asked, "So then who was walking behind you when you were leaving the house?"
Oh my goodness.
And that's where he left it.
No. You're kidding. We need more. He can't just leave it like that. Now, can I just say that is probably because he cussed it out. The one thing you are taught is to never disrespect a ghost.
He was taught to cuss at it.
Well, yeah, he was taught the opposite. But the one thing you're always told, if you know anything about the spiritual world, is don't disrespect the spirits. Always be respectful.
Isn't it a thing? He felt something touching his back.
Yeah.
As he was walking away. Isn't it also one thing that, like, when they're attaching to you, one of the spots you feel something is your back?
Yeah.
I think it's back of the neck, your back.
Anywhere that's, like, behind you, basically, because that's where you are most vulnerable, I believe.
I think.
Don't quote us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We don't know anything.
No, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's...
But... Now I just want to know more. Like, what happened after seeing something following? I don't know. But I would say the big mistake was cussing out the ghost. In that one, personally.
Someone's confused because they're replying to they would usually call it quits by 8 p.m. This was the time I usually showed up and went to bed because I worked the graveyard shift. they was like, oh wait, what, you show up at 8 p.m. and go to bed because you work a graveyard shift, and then are you not the brother who goes to work at night?
Oh. Okay.
They made me confused, not even the writer.
I was about to say, now I'm confused. Like, that comment confused me even more. Okay. Debunk the elderly hate technology.
The story, and then the thing of the kid who borrowed his mom's phone to play with and ended up falling asleep in bed. Mom finds the kid sleeping, grabs her phone and looks at her phone pics to see a pic of this crazy half face close up and the kid sleeping in the background. Haha, not gonna click on it. Can we press on it?
Yeah, click on it.
Let's hope it's not anything crazy, because now you've put that in my mind. Oh, it sent us to oh, by the way, we just clicked on a link from a comment that was on the one I just read, by the way.
Yeah.
We oh my god!
No way.
Okay,
That kind of looks like a doll.
it is? This has to be fake.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the photo. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it.
I will zoom in.
We'll zoom in. But that looks like a doll. I'm not going to lie. I mean, creepy photo. But it just kind of, the face kind of looks plastic. Now, are they saying it's an elderly, like, are they trying to say it's a ghost? Or are they saying
it's really
like
short, it's
a
just
doll?
this. Should I read it?
Yeah, read it.
Okay. New cell phone. A couple of months ago, my friend's cousin, a single mother, bought a new cell phone. After a long day of work, she came home, placed her phone on the counter, and went to watch TV. Her son came to her and asked if he could play with her new phone. She told him not to call anyone or mess with text messages, and he agreed. At around 11:20, she was drowsy, so she decided to tuck her son in and go to bed. She walked to his room and saw that he wasn't there. She then ran to her room to find him sleeping on her bed with the phone in his hand. Relieved, she picked up her phone back up from his hand to inspect it. Browsing through it, she noticed only minor changes, such as a new background banner, etc. But then she opened up her saved pictures. She began deleting the pictures he had taken, until only one new picture remained. When she first saw it, she was in disbelief. It was her son sleeping on her bed, but the picture was taken by someone else above him, and it showed the left half of an elderly woman's face. That's not an elderly woman to me.
I was about to say, that doesn't look like an elderly woman to me.
Wait, okay, I see it.
Do you?
Ignore the doll aspect. Think of an old woman that kind of really dark eyes.
Okay, yeah, I do kind of see it,
Like
but I don't know,
eyeliner.
the face here just kind of looks like plastically. I don't know. Leave your opinions and comments and
It was originally uploaded on December 2nd, 2010.
let us know your opinions about it. To me, now that I'm looking at it carefully, I do see what you're seeing, like elderly woman, but I'm also just seeing doll. And that's just because the skin kind of looks plasticky, but I don't know.
Back to Reddit. yeah, someone from the comment that gave us the link, someone said that's supposed to be an elderly woman's face. It looks like one of the dolls from the Team America movie.
Damn selfie taking Portugueses. In my old house, things like this would happen all the time. I'd be sitting on my computer listening to music on my iPod. Crazy, makes me feel old. Periodically, at random times, the screen would flicker and my iPod's volume would adjust either up or down. I never thought anything of this until it continued to do so only in that house. Eventually I just said, whatever, if it likes the song, it likes the song. Okay. Yeah, see, if it was anywhere other than that house, I would say, oh, maybe there's something wrong with the button. But okay. Interesting. However, inside this house I had constant issues, one of which would be my sleeping in bed, living room, depending on the night, and waking up to a low grumbling sound. Feeling fear strike my heart and listening to the beat of my now panic state, I would try.
Did you hear that? Like a grumble.
Yeah, I did, but I just said grumble there.
I promise.
I just said low grumbling as well.
Yeah, I heard it, but did you hear the little?
Yeah, but that must be something out there.
No, but it was down my mic. I promise it was down my mic because I had it through here.
Anyway, feeling fear strike my heart and listen to the beat of my now panic state, I would try and move to wake up and see what is happening. I couldn't. Not even my fingertips would move, completely conscious and able to see silhouettes. I see my cat hiss and can feel myself being moved as light shines over my eyes and I fall asleep again. That sounds like sleep paralysis to me.
Yeah.
But it could be something else, so we'll see. This particular case, I remember waking up and seeing a man standing on this 100-foot tree in my backyard. Real tall and slender, this guy. I muster up as much strength as I can, raise my hand up and give this guy the finger. What It's with cussing out ghosts. Okay. After
I love doing that.
I know. After which, I immediately fall back to sleep with a thud. I hear my back door open on the second floor, and my dog start barking whine from downstairs. I was 16 and 250 pounds. No one was moving me anywhere. Realistically speaking, of course. Anyway, to this day, I swear that thing was an ET because I saw it multiple times throughout my life. One standing in the kitchen window which was 8 feet off the ground. That particular night, and in the first house I ever lived, I used to see him in my bedroom window and he would talk to me. Scariest thing I have experienced ended when I moved out of the house. I am now 21. Kind of tipsy, but the night I gave ET the finger was the last time he came around. Okay, fair enough. That kind of started to sound like sleep paralysis to me. But if it's only in that house, that's where it becomes a little bit weird because sleep paralysis literally happens anywhere.
Great point.
I don't know. Let's see what the comments says. Oh, someone else said it. That's sleep paralysis. Almost everyone that gets it also reports terrifying hallucinations, including me. The other stuff I have no clue. Second, on sleep paralysis, I have a lot of experience with it, usually mildly irritating, very rarely absolutely terrifying, sometimes more interesting than dreadful. Lucid dreams. Sleep paralysis is often occupied by hallucinations induced from the dream state you are still half in. Yeah, so everyone agrees with me. Sounds like sleep paralysis.
This is a long one, but there's edits, and you know we love edits, so we're gonna do it. 13 years ago, again?
That's crazy.
What?
We're reading some old stories.
Very old ones? Okay. The following is shamelessly stolen from a friend's experience shared on a Halloween ghost hunt because we weren't having any luck ourselves. His story. This friend and a few of his college buddies were going on a similar ghost hunt themselves and had heard about some graveyard where children murdered by their mother had been buried. The graveyard was... I don't know why I'm laughing.
No, that was an awkward laugh. I think we all get it.
The graveyard was located off the main road, so my friend parked his car on the side of the road and the group, 5 to 7 people, I believe, got out and followed the small path through the woods for a couple minutes to get to the graveyard. Once there, nothing exciting happened for the first 10 minutes or so, and they had tried everything the website or wherever they had the story told them to do, with nothing resulting. They got bored and, being typical inhibited college kids, started taunting the supposed ghost of their mother. This continued for a few minutes before they tired and decided to go back to the car as one of the girls had to go to the bathroom. Once they got back to the car, my friend, the sober driver, tried opening the handle without unlocking the car because he hadn't locked it in the first place but found it locked. He attributed this to bad memory at the time. The group drove home, laughing and talking like normal. After he dropped all the others off at their homes, he went back to his own house. He got in at the same time as one of his roommates, who stopped and waited for him to pull in. The roommate had his phone and shined the light to the window where his friend pulled in as a joke. What he saw was tiny baby-sized handprints all over the windows. As soon as my friend got out, he went into the house without saying a word to the roommate. The roommate, confused, went back to their car and tried to rub one of the handprints. They were on the inside of the window. To this day, my friend will not speak of his drive home after he dropped off his other friends and has since sold the car without ever driving it again.
Oh wow. Selling a car, can I just say, is like, you must have had a very scary experience to sell a car. That's like big.
This is a separate story, I think, because it says my own story.
Okay, quickly, can I also just say, why do I feel like in every single story we've read today, they've taunted this ghost?
Literally. Because the first one.
Yeah. Like, it's cussing or taunting or just doing something that you're always told not to do when it comes to spirits, to be completely honest. I don't know. I feel like it's a pattern.
This next one is also in a graveyard, just to say.
Okay, let's get reading.
My own story. This one is from my own experience. I was driving home with a friend from a tournament we had gone to about 2 to 3 hours away. The whole weekend it had been raining and storming very hard, and a lot of roads were flooded. This was Indiana, so a bunch of side roads and bridges were just gone. We had to reroute around 231, since a huge section of it was underwater from where a river had flooded. We ended up going through a few side towns and back roads that were a lot higher elevation away from other bodies of water. We were driving through one small town and I was navigating with the GPS in the car. I would glance at it every once in a while, but I was also paying attention to what was going on outside the car, as it was raining pretty heavily still. The GPS directed us on a road that was connected up with a more main one, and we were driving on it just fine when suddenly my buddy slammed on the brakes.
Why is that so funny to you?
I just imagine
Okay.
in the middle of a graveyard and the road just ends. I looked down at the GPS and then showed my buddy that the road continues straight on and straight back the way we came according to the GPS screen. He shrugs, turns around, and then when we stopped back the way we came, now we had been telling ghost stories and I was not at all sleepy or tired. We had driven on the one road the last 15 minutes or so, directly through the town and into the countryside before we encountered the graveyard. On the way back, we made 5 to 6 turns within this graveyard through which we had just come on a straight road that also suddenly spanned back a mile or so before finally getting back onto the straight road we thought we were on before. I looked at the GPS again and it was rerouting. When it finished, the route it wanted us to take was make a U-turn and continue on County Road 200 N for 10 miles. We both turned around in our seats to confirm that we indeed were just driven through a huge graveyard with many turns and twists in the road leading back into it. Instead, we saw the road dead-ended into a small graveyard. We immediately drove back to the town opposite the direction of the graveyard and took a different route home. Edit 2. I can't remember the actual name of the road we were on. I just picked a random country road for the GPS direction in my story. I don't think it actually was the name of it. It's awesome to see much interest in the story, though it was definitely one of the creepiest things I've experienced. Edit 3. The first story's graveyard / cemetery sounds a lot like Step, I think, cemetery. My friend is from Mitchell and he said it was about an hour away, which checks out. It even has a story of a mother that it seems like I got slightly wrong in the retelling, thanks to all the people looking up details. The graveyards / cemeteries in the story are different. I had no idea what the second one was called / where exactly it was located on the map. Just a general idea to the west of Bloomington. Edit 4. Roommate, thanks for that correction. Okay. Yeah, so what do you think of that? So it in my opinion, I feel like it seems like there's no explanation for it. Okay. It seems like the GPS was making them do all this thing as if it was like such a big graveyard. They finally get out of it and it's like the tiniest thing ever, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but also you know what GPSs are like.
Yeah.
They could literally send you all over the place. That just doesn't make sense. Or they can just I don't know. They can go faulty is all I'm going to say.
Okay, some comments. Yeah, I was in Bloomington during that insane flood and had to navigate friends through the highlands to get them back from Indy. Glad I did not send them to any terrifying random graveyards. I'm pretty sure we were on the phone with a friend from Bloomington for 90% of the way home. After that, it suddenly calmed our nerves.
Okay, so it might just be a case of it's a very confusing area that a lot of people get confused about. You have to kind of know the area, and then they just ended up going into a creepy graveyard.
Yeah.
I don't know. This happened to me when I was a junior in high school. It was December and it had just started snowing that evening. My best friend and I were in debate and getting ready for our state qualifiers that were the next day. We were writing our cases and as usual at each other's throats over the details of the cases. It was a stressful, tense evening. We finally finished our cases at about 3 a.m. Then we went to my room for the night. Oh, the classic 3 a.m. for spirits. Okay. Almost as soon as we get into my room, we hear what sounds like the water turning on in the other end of the house. No big deal. Probably my parents, I think. Then we hear the front door open. I told her, I bet Mum woke up and wanted some fresh air. It made sense. I really thought that's why it was, until we heard incredibly heavy footsteps in my living room, headed for my room. They were not anyone in my family's footsteps. Then they stopped. Can I just say, you always know everyone's footsteps that's in your family.
Yeah.
Like, I always know when everyone in this house is coming up the stairs, just by the sound. So, okay. Interesting. My friend and I looked at each other and were both freaked out, just standing frozen in my room. We walked closer to each other and the footsteps started again, but this time they were running towards us. Oh no. We both flipped. We grabbed each other's hands out of fear and my bedroom door flew open. We both looked at the door. Nobody was there. We ran to the bathroom that's connected to my room. I closed, locked the door and stood against it. When we finally got the balls to do it, we sprinted to my parents' room crying and hysterical. We obviously startled my parents awake. They said neither of them had gotten up. My dad grabbed his gun and looked outside. No tracks in the snow anywhere around our house. The creepy thing about it is the fact that there's no footsteps in the snow, and it's footsteps that you don't recognize.
That was a really short story.
Yeah, I feel like I would have liked more, because it was just a case of, although there probably isn't more and that's why they haven't written more, but what I mean is it would have been more interesting to have a bit more of like, I don't know, maybe like background. Has this happened before? Was this like the first time? You know what I mean? Because yes, it wasn't any of the parents. I don't know. I just feel like there's like something missing from it. See, that's what I feel like a little bit is what's missing. Is they explain that they ran into the bathroom, they locked it, and then they are jumping into the story of like, okay, we decided to basically grow a pair and just run to the parents' room. Fine. But did the footsteps stop? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like that bigger part is like, I don't know. But it does sound creepy. It does sound terrifying. The fact that there's no footprints in the snow, terrifying. Just glad that it wasn't a case of someone breaking into your home. You know? But definitely a very scary experience, and I must say I would not like it if I had that experience, because that would terrify me. I have a similar story, but not as scary. I was at my then girlfriend's house out in a little town. Her stepfather, nice fella, and her mum bought a new house, and her handy stepfather was renovating the upstairs of their pretty old house. Around 1:30 in the morning, we heard work boots thumping around the upstairs, and we couldn't figure out why he was working so late or what the hell he was doing upstairs. Next morning we asked at breakfast, so what were you working on last night? And he said nothing, I was in bed then. And her mum said that he was telling the truth because she was there too. Granted, they could have just been BSing, but my girlfriend and I still couldn't tell who was walking around upstairs in heavy work boots at 1:30 a.m. or why. See, that is, footsteps is a common thing to hear, you know. Creepy, but believe it or not, common. After my brother died in our very old house in Ohio, my family heard footsteps down the hallway to his room while they were in the kitchen downstairs. They were very clear, and both my mom and dad noticed it. No one was upstairs for sure. It's so hard to believe spirits don't exist. It's too hard to believe that out of the millions of stories I've read in my life, that every one of them was made up. That is true, I must say. See, that one's sad. Like the brother died and then they hear footsteps to his room. That could be like a recording, because that's obviously what he would have done when he was alive. So again, that's believable. I'm not saying none of these are believable, by the way. I'm just saying. I'm gonna get comfortable right as we're ending. No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because that hurts so bad. Okay.
Looking like that. Yeah, again, 13 years ago. Are we on like the 13 years? Because everything's 13 years ago. The portraits always creeps me out. There was a hunter in the woods who, after a long day hunting, was in the middle of an immense forest. It was getting dark, and having lots of his bearings, he decided to head in one direction until he was clear of the increasingly oppressive foliage. After what seems like hours, he came across a cabin in a small clearing. Realizing how dark it had grown, he decided to see if he could stay there for the night. He approached and found the door ajar. Nobody was inside. The hunter flopped down on the single bed, deciding to explain himself to the owner in the morning. This is definitely like a written story.
You know, some of the stories just seem like they're a writer. Like sometimes
I'm pretty sure some of that are for entertainment.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's the thing about Reddit, is that's why I find it fun with the Reddit ones, because like, is it believable or is it just like a storytelling type thing? And sometimes you can tell it's storytelling by the way they write it.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue, sorry.
As he looked around, he was surprised to see the walls adorned by many portraits, all painted in incredible detail. Without exception, they appeared to be staring down at him, their features twisted into looks of hatred. Staring back, he grew increasingly uncomfortable, making a concerted effort to ignore the many hateful faces. He turned to face the wall, and exhausted, he fell into a restless sleep. Face down in an unfamiliar bed, he turned, blinking in unexpected light. Looking up, he discovered that the cabin had no portraits, only windows. Great story.
Is that the end?
Yeah?
No, you're kidding. That actually felt like it was not gonna end. Wait, not in a bad way. I just meant like it felt like there was more to say.
Some comments. What is that guy doing in that cabin? LOL, I don't know. Oh my god, it's because nobody stayed behind while we went swimming. What do we do now? Let's just stare at him to scare him out. Get the out now.
Yeah, I must say it took a very long time to say something, didn't it?
One night, no, that was like,
Oh, yeah.
they never, like the people didn't come back.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
One night, man makes his way to his cabin in middle of tundra. Yeah. Inside is plain, but many family put pictures on walls. He falls asleep in the middle of the night. He is put in sack and dragged out. The next morning, he is shot like a dog. Pictures all windows.
What are these comments?
KGB, always watching. I don't know. The story takes place in 1975.
Ooh, an old story. Sorry, okay,
I love
continue.
olden days. I wish I was born then, bruh.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I could like actually kill the 1970s. Like,
Oh,
me and the style.
yeah.
Me in general.
Okay. No, like I am someone that would like to be born in the 70s, 80s, but I'm just surprised that you are.
Totally.
Okay.
My grandpa was a farmer.
Well, I hope he was a father at some point.
My grandpa was a farmer.
You nearly said it again. What on earth? Yes, he was a father. He is a father. That's why he's a grandfather, okay? Try again.
My grandpa was a farmer. He was living in a village and had apricot trees in a field a long way out of the village. It was a small village, poor lit. Imagine how it was in the fields. You know those villages with 100 permanent citizens? Well, the best time for watering in the summer is the night, so he went to the water tree. Went to water trees. To water the tree.
It's late, everyone.
It's really not.
It really isn't. I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt here.
When the best time for watering in the summer is the night, so he went to water the trees. When he took the back home, remember it was a pitch black with no moon countryside, he saw beside him two shimmering eyes, what he thought it was a ghost. Terrified, he yelled and run, and even throw rocks at it, but nothing happened. It kept following him. When it reached my grandpa, it turned out to be a stray little donkey. P.S. I know it's not the kind of typical scary story, but imagine being alone in a pitch black field and the comment says, poor little donkey.
Okay, well at least
been hit by the rocks.
At least there was an explanation for that one.
So the donkey was being hit by the rocks, which isn't funny overall.
Why are you laughing at that? That's evil. That's horrible.
It's not funny overall, but
not the type of scary story we thought was going to end off. I'm not going to lie.
when my grandfather was a teenager, he decided to sneak out and go across the mountain to a party at his neighbor's house. At his neighbor's house. When he proceeded to get it faced, he started walking home in the middle of the night so he wouldn't get caught out of bed in the morning. About halfway there, he saw a huge bear, just a bear right there in front of him, and clearly annoyed. So what does he do? Well, he climbs a tree and stays put. The bear wanders over to the tree and lays down at its base to go to sleep. So what can my grandfather do but wait for the bear to go away? He goes to sleep in the tree. The next morning, grandfather wakes up and looks down to see if the bear's still there. It's there all right. It looks up at him and moos. My teenage grandfather got treed by a cow.
Okay, right. This is not the way I thought was going to end today's podcast. What?
Can I read this real quick? It's really short.
Okay, go on then.
I'm saying, this is the last one.
I know.
I'm finding really good ones right now. And I'm just like reading the line. It seems interesting. Okay.
But we'll come back to this.
This is all speech. This is all in speech. Daddy, I had a bad dream. You blink your eyes and pull up on your elbows. Your clock glows red in the darkness. It's 3:23. Do you want to climb into bed and tell me about it? No, Daddy. The oddness of the situation wakes you up more fully. You can barely make out your daughter's pale form in the darkness of your room. Why not, sweetie? Because in my dream, when I told you about the dream, the thing wearing Mommy's skin sat up. For a moment, you feel paralyzed. You can't take your eyes off your daughter. The covers behind you begin to shift. A comment. Time to blind elbow strike a B word with loads of eyes.
A beach.
Holy it, that was eerie, haha.
Was that someone just like writing a story?
Then you realise it was your wife and you elbow checked her in the face. That's funny.
Yeah, so is that just someone writing like
Yeah.
a storytelling story? Okay. So that is where we are going to end today's episode, even though Lexie wants to just continue reading more without it ever ending. But thank you all so much for listening or watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Spotify, because we do also post the podcast there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next one. Bye.